Joseon, Korea, 1804. The palace in Hanyang was not only the center of government, it was a world sealed from ordinary life. Rules governed every step, every bowl of food, every breath taken near the royal family. Court ladies were trained from youth to serve quietly, speak carefully, and disappear into the system that controlled them. They were everywhere, yet seen by no one. Among them was a court lady whose name appears only partially in surviving records, identified in later investigations as a senior attendant, assigned to an inner residence connected to the royal household. Her role placed her close enough to power to be trusted, but far enough to be invisible. That invisibility would become deadly. In Joseon society, poison was feared more than swords. Blades left evidence. Poison left doubt. Symptoms could resemble illness. Death could be slow, confusing, and deniable. That fear haunted royal kitchens, medicine rooms, and tea services, which is why every ingredient entering the palace was logged. Every cook was watched. Every servant was ranked and monitored, or so it was believed. In the weeks before her death, the court lady complained quietly of stomach pain, dizziness, and weakness. At first, physicians suspected common illness, food fatigue, stress, overwork. These were not unusual among palace women, but the symptoms did not pass. Instead, they worsened. She lost weight. Her skin paled. Her strength faded. Other court ladies noticed that she began avoiding shared meals, eating alone when allowed, fearful but unsure why. Some whispered that she had offended someone above her. Others believed she was cursed. Inside the palace, rumors were dangerous. One night, she collapsed. Physicians were summoned. Herbal remedies were administered. None worked. Her condition continued to decline, and within days, she died quietly, without struggle, in her sleeping quarters. At first, the palace prepared to record the death as illness. Then something changed. A junior court physician, whose name appears in later court notes, noticed discoloration around the mouth and unusual internal damage inconsistent with the reported symptoms. He did not accuse anyone. He simply reported uncertainty. In Joseon law, uncertainty was enough. The king's advisors were informed. An internal inquiry was ordered, handled quietly to avoid panic. The palace did not want scandal, but it feared something worse: poison. Food records were examined. Medicine logs reviewed. Kitchen staff questioned. The dead woman's daily routine was reconstructed step by step, and slowly, a pattern emerged. Her illness coincided with a specific herbal tonic she had been receiving regularly. The tonic was common, used to relieve fatigue. But the supply source was unusual. It did not come directly from the palace dispensary. It came through another court lady. This woman, identified in interrogation records only by her court rank and family origin, had access to both the kitchens and the inner quarters. She had served longer, she was trusted, and she had reason to resent the victim. Eventually, contradictions appeared, and they appeared quietly, the way danger always does inside a palace. At first, no one announced them. They were written down in small notes, compared across tables, whispered between officials who had learned never to speak too loudly when power was nearby. The accused court lady had spoken confidently at first. Her voice did not shake. She repeated her routine as she had done for years. Morning duties, afternoon service, evening rest, everything ordinary, everything familiar. But the records did not agree with her words. Duty rosters showed her presence in places she claimed she had never entered. Access logs recorded her movements at hours she insisted she was elsewhere. Small differences at first, minutes that did not matter, then hours that could not be explained. In Joseon administration, time was authority. To be where you claimed mattered. To move without record was suspicion. When officials returned to her with these discrepancies, they did not accuse her. They asked her to explain. They asked her to repeat her schedule again, slowly, carefully. This time, her voice changed. Not dramatically, not with panic. Just a slight pause where none had been before. A hesitation at a doorway she had previously described with certainty. A confusion about which corridor she used to reach the inner quarters. The room noticed. The court scribes wrote faster. She began to sweat, though the room was cool. Her hands tightened inside her sleeves. Her eyes lowered, not in respect, but in calculation. She realized too late that the palace remembered better than she did. When confronted with a full list of inconsistencies, her composure did not shatter in anger. It collapsed inward. Her shoulders lowered. Her breathing slowed. The fight left her. And then she spoke again. She confessed. Not with hatred in her voice, not with rage or cruelty, but with exhaustion, with the weight of years spent inside walls where ambition had nowhere to go except sideways. She said she never intended to kill immediately. She said the doses were small, measured. She believed the body would weaken, not fail, that the victim would fall ill, be reassigned, quietly removed from duty, that no one would die, that no one would look closely. In the palace, removal was as good as disappearance. She believed advancement would follow, not wealth, not power beyond her station, just survival. just a better position in a system that rewarded patience more than virtue. She said she did not hate the woman who died. That admission disturbed the officials more than anger would have, because it meant the act was not personal. It was procedural. It was something she believed the system allowed. But poison does not negotiate. It does not understand intention. It does not stop when regret begins. Once introduced, it follows its own path, indifferent to excuses. The confession was recorded in formal language, stripped of emotion, reduced to facts and statements. Names were coded. Details were limited. This was not a case meant for public knowledge. The palace sealed the record. The execution order was written, approved, and circulated only among those required to carry it out. No announcement was made. No notice posted. No warning sent through the ranks of court ladies. The sentence was death, carried out according to Joseon legal practice without ceremony. No crowd gathered, no drums sounded, no lesson was displayed. The woman who had lived unseen was removed unseen. By morning, her quarters were empty, her bedding removed. Her name struck from active service lists. To those who asked, she had been reassigned, then forgotten. The palace moved on. Officially, nothing had happened, but internally, everything had changed. Food protocols were rewritten, ingredients were tracked more closely, herbal preparations were restricted to fewer hands, medicine rooms were locked with new seals. Access routes between quarters were adjusted, shortened, monitored. Trust, once assumed, was replaced with surveillance. Court ladies noticed new rules immediately. Meals took longer to arrive. Supervisors lingered near kitchens. Questions were asked where silence once ruled. Glances became sharper. Friendships quieter. Fear settled into the routines. Not fear of punishment alone, but fear of each other. Because the most terrifying truth of the case was never spoken aloud. The threat had not come from outside the palace walls. It had not arrived with an enemy army or a foreign plot. It had come from within. From someone trained to serve quietly. Someone invisible. Someone patient enough to wait, careful enough to measure, and desperate enough to believe she could control death. And that knowledge did not disappear with her execution. It stayed. It lingered in every bowl of tea, every shared meal, every medicine cup raised in trust. If you value true crime told with accuracy, restraint, and respect for real history, like, comment, share, and subscribe to Crime Story. This video was created with the help of advanced AI tools to reconstruct real history.